Last time out then in the British Rally Championship, it was victory for Edwards on the fast and challenging lanes of Belgium, making it 2 victories this season for the reigning champ. And with an equal 2 wins under his belt already, Hyundai driver Tom Kay would have to settle for 2nd place in Ypres, a mistake on shakedown threatening to end those chances before the rally even began. Those challenging Flemish stages took their toll on our junior championship contenders as well. James Williams coming out on top though with a good run throughout the weekend. James Wilson got his rally off to a bad start with a crash on the shakedown stage and a long night getting the car back out in time to start the rally, while Jordan Hone was entertaining the crowds on the Kemmelberg jump, unfortunately breaking the car in the process. Here goes round 5 then, which sees the crews stick with the asphalt. This time the tight and twisty lanes of Northern Ireland for the Ulster Rally.
Yeah, I love the look of the stages, to be honest. I tend to go better on tighter, twistier stages, narrower stages, which these are, and seem to suit the car. So, I think we're confident of the pace we can achieve. It's just a case of, is it going to be fast enough next, against the opposition?
Yeah, it's going to be another fierce fight between Matt and myself tomorrow, and looking forward to it. Really nice stages here in the Ulster, new for everybody, so it's an even playing field, and looking forward to the challenge.
So Matt Edwards leads our BRC Cruiserweight on this, the penultimate round of the season. Level on points with Cave, and with both crews leaving their jokers until the final round of the series. This weekend was going to be an important part of the story. Let's head out onto those fast and furious stages then, and it would be the early lead for this man, Matt Edwards, Patrick Walsh alongside. They managed to open up a 10-second advantage as well after the first loop of stages. And they were certainly trying. You could see it here, this moment in stage 2, the car stepping out, braking for a chicane. It could have been the end of the road for the pair. Matt would have to rein that Fiesta in.
Right maximum crest and flat 5 left minus, in too early, right max long, 80.
So that, in case you were wondering, would leave Tom Cave and Dale Bowen second. They were keeping Edwards honest though. Their time on the 3rd stage of the day, just a second slower than the Ford driver. So a big push would be on the cards for the next loop of stages. The times were also looking good for Marty McCormack and Barney Mitchell as well. The pair didn't finish last time out, so would be looking to put that right here. 3rd place would be theirs for now. The record starting to straighten out. It was issues with the brake cooling keeping Jonathan Greer and Kirsty Riddick back from that fight up ahead. They were struggling, ending the morning with 4th. Just 11 seconds back though from McCormack, the fight still on. Frustratingly though for Alex Laffey and Stuart Loudon, they were all but out of the fight. The pair having a good feeling in the car on shakedown, but getting caught out on a corner in the 2nd stage of the day, hitting a bank. The impact didn't look like much, but it would be enough to cause water temperature issues, forcing the pair to retire in the stage.
Right 4 in over crest, into left 5 wet.
And Laffey wouldn't be the only one getting caught out. We'd welcome back Alan Carmichael and Ivan Lamont for this round, only to see them retire in a ditch on the 2nd stage of the day. Let's take a look at the hunt for the junior title. It would be the early lead for Josh McGurlin and Keaton Williams. A great start after problems with the car on shakedown meant a late night, working to get the car to the start of the rally. Brake problems would be a worry though. For James Williams and Di Roberts, it would be 2nd. James off the back of his strong result in Belgium, finding the stages slippery but happy with how things were going and of course brimming with confidence. Marty Gallagher and Dean O'Sullivan, meanwhile, would be happy enough with things as well. They didn't manage to get any seat time in the car prior to the start after problems on shakedown. So 3rd junior would be a welcomed end to that morning loop of stages. Finley Redson and Richard Crozier were putting in a hard shift. They'd be thankful just to be at the rally after their crash in Belgium. A lot of hard work for the team to get the car here, and it was paying off with 4th place at this stage. Jordan Hone and Eileen Kelly would be looking for a strong result on home turf this weekend, as they always were. They'd be finding the stages very slippery though, ending the morning 5th in our junior category. And Rory Bell and Darren Garrett will be another of our crews surprised at the lack of grip on the lanes this weekend. They take it cautiously, ending the morning in one piece, crucially, and with 6th in our junior category. This weekend sees Rupert Flynn and Perida Davies join the series. Rupert's first time on the asphalt, and it would be a baptism of fire in these slippery conditions. They do make a small mistake on the opening stage, sliding off into a hedge. Luckily, with minimal damage, they continue to end the loop with 7th. And sadly for Will Crichton and Liam Regan, their luck would run out on the second stage of the day. They overshoot a junction that had already caught a few people out, damaging the radiator in the process. Some are lucky, some are not. They get the car going again, but would be forced to pull up a few minutes later to avoid any damage to the engine. So we reach the end of the morning loop of stages. It's Edwards in the lead so far, but things, as always, in this British Rally Championship were very close at the top. On we go then to the second loop of stages in this compact event here at the Ulster Rally, and there'd be no change at the top of our leaderboard. Matt Edwards and Patrick Walsh keeping hold of the lead of the rally, extending their advantage slightly now too. Tom Cave and Dale Bowen, though, were fighting back, putting in a faster time than Edwards on the first stage of the loop and an almost identical time on the third. Frustratingly for them, the time in stage 5 would be enough to drop them back a little in that hunt. The reason for that? This trip into a field, thankfully not doing any lasting damage other than to the times. For Marty McCormack and Barney Mitchell, it would be a strong third now. They were struggling for grip just like many were, but the times were still looking good for the Skoda pair regardless. And for Johnny Greer and Kirsty Riddick, it would be 4th. They'd also visited the same field as Cave this morning, so their overall times were taking a bit of a knock. There'd be a bit of notable change in the junior category on this loop of stages. James Williams and Di Roberts making the most of the stages drying a little and taking the lead with a big fight back at this stage. That, of course, meant a drop to 2nd for Josh McCurlin and Keaton Williams after their strong start. They knew, though, that 2nd was enough for the championship, so they just needed to keep the pace as it was to the finish, not do anything silly and manage their rally. Easier said than done. Meanwhile, in 3rd place in the junior category, things were going much better on this loop for Jordan Hone and Eileen Kelly. It wasn't looking like they would catch McCurlin on this pace alone, but they would, of course, keep pushing. Rory Bell and Darren Garrett were enjoying the stages now that they had a little more grip to play with, getting quicker as well as the day went on, so it showed, ending the middle loop of the day in 4th. Would another podium finish be on the cards for the pair? After their mistake this morning, Rupert Flynn and Perida Davies would be doing anything to avoid a repeat. They'd be giving the slippery bits a bit more respect. It was going well, ending the loop with 5th in the juniors and ready for a big push. The morning's problems may have put Will Crichton and Liam Regan out of contention for anything looking like a result, but that wasn't going to stop them enjoying the remaining stages and get some valuable seat time in the car. Things were hardly going to plan either for Marty Gallagher and Dean O'Sullivan. They thought they had problems when a wrong direction on this corner saw them losing overall time, but engine failure would put them out of the event soon afterwards. So 6 grueling stages down, 3 to go here in Ireland. That title fight still looking close at the top, with our junior championship looking like it was going to be taken at the finish this weekend, but it could all change in that final loop of stages. Let's join the action out on the Irish lanes. One championship ready to be sewn up, another looking so close you couldn't call it. We were looking forward to this final loop of stages on the Ulster Rally, and we see Will Crichton and Liam Regan putting in times that would have seen them fighting for the lead. Frustratingly, of course, their earlier problems meant that 6th in the category would be all that they could expect here this weekend. For Rupert Flynn and Peredur Davies, it would be a good debut on the asphalt, ending the rally with 5th in the junior category on their first outing in the British Rally Championship Series. Now, we haven't heard much about this man, John Morrison, Peter Carstairs alongside this year. With just themselves competing in the national part of the championship, they've slipped under the radar in those championship battles. But the Evo pair will be having a strong and enjoyable season so far, and entertaining the spectators as well. Ulster being no different. The pair end this weekend's event mixing with the other championship crews in 6th place overall. Rory Bell and Darren Garrett went into the final loop of stages with a podium well within their sights once again. Sadly, it would be too much to ask in the remaining stages of the day, settling in the end for a well-deserved 4th in category this weekend. Here we go then, those all-important junior championship deciding podium positions. It will be 3rd for Jordan Hone and Ideen Kelly. Their confidence growing as the day went on and their pace improving with it. Not the victory that they would have been aiming for, but a good result nonetheless. For James Williams and Di Roberts, it would be 2nd, unable to match the victory pace from Belgium. But with these stages being a whole different challenge in the new car, that was understandable. This does put James 3rd in the championship standings after round 5. But that does mean it's victory here in the juniors for Josh McCurlin and Keaton Williams. Not only the victory this weekend, but the pair reaching the finish as BRC Junior Rally Champions for 2019. Onto that overall championship fight then, and things were not going to plan for many of the competitors. Martin McCormack and Barney Mitchell characterising that perfectly, going wide on this corner but getting away without any issues. Sadly for them, in the following stages things would get worse. They crash out of the rally on stage 9.
Brake, ready super crest, only 30 short, 6 right plus, don't cut it.
And after a day riddled with problems on the car, we lose Johnny Greer and Kirsty Riddick. The pair going off the road in stage 8, trying a bit too hard, but going no further. But perhaps in the most notable twist at the end of this rally, we'd also lose championship hopefuls Tom Cave and Dale Bowen. They crash out of the event in stage 8 after getting this corner slightly wrong, proving that the margin for error when fighting at this pace in the British Rally Championship really is slim. So all of that drama today means, of course, it's victory this weekend for Matt Edwards and Patrick Walsh. They did exactly what they came here to do, taking victory and putting them in a leading position going into the final round of the championship. But with the Jokers still to play, it was pretty much winner takes all at the final round of the championship in a few weeks' time.
Yes! Well done. Put it there, mate.
Here's confirmation then of the final results here at the Ulster Rally. That victory for Edwards, putting that 2nd title and the defence of last year's win within grasp, while Josh McCurlin clinches the junior title in front of his home crowd with 1 round to spare.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunately for Tom, it's been made a little bit easier for us on Galloway, but you know, as we know, getting round an event just to finish and score points is not an easy task. So yeah, we're looking forward to that all the same. It's you know, the pace down those, you know, some of the lanes only is the width of the car, so you know the sensation of speed's really high, and you know I had bumps and jumps and you know really greasy, slippy surfaces this morning. It was really tough.
Yeah, we've done it in style, all right. It didn't look that promising last night when the gearbox was sitting in the straight, but yeah, it all came together and we're delighted, over the moon. We had a battle on every stage. Whenever William went out, and then Williams came at us, so yeah, we had a fight for it anyway.
Next up then, it's down to the wire as the crews head to Scotland for the final round of the series. Fast and challenging gravel stages await, and we will of course be there to bring you all of the action. Keep an eye in the meanwhile on the British Rally Championship page for all of the latest news and updates from this exciting championship.